What is up guys, Fi here, and today we're going to be looking at the best champions for solo queue, but those that aren't actually banned that often. So I did a video about 2 weeks ago with the best champions for solo queue, and while those are still the best, they're pretty much always banned, so you don't really get to play them a lot. This video is going to be the best of the rest basically, so the best of those that aren't banned and aren't picked too often and you can actually get a chance to play. So starting off this list, we're going to be looking at mid lane, and the first one's going to be Ahri. Now Ahri has been popular for a while and she's played a fair bit, but she actually isn't banned that much and she's not picked too much either. Ahri has a ton of mobility, she has really good lane pressure and kill potential on her opponent, and with the new Ludens as well, it makes her even more deadly because she can literally 100 to 0 someone like you could with Deathfire Grasp. The really good things about Ahri is that she can roam so well. Like, she's really good at ganking because of her ultimate. She's good in lane and has a ton of kill potential early. So she's good early, she's really good in team fights and roaming around, and she's also really good late game. When it comes down to it, there isn't really a reason not to pick Ahri, I guess. She's good in every situation, and so she's a really good champion to learn. Here you can see some masteries, runes, and build for her as well. And the build I love going at the moment is rushing a Luden's Echo. It's really strong, it does a ton of damage, and it basically lets you kill anyone that you want to from 100 to 0. So it's really good. Get that, then get some CDR, and carry on with the rest of your build. So next up on this list, we're going to be looking at the top laners, and I've actually got two. There's Vlad and Wukong. Now Wukong is kind of an underrated pick. He's actually really strong right now. He does a ton of damage and he gets pretty tanky with his passive as well. The one we're actually going to be focusing on though is going to be Vlad, because I do think he's a little bit stronger. He has an okay lane phase, he's got crazy sustain, he has even crazier damage, an insane late game, and he's actually pretty good because he can split push and he can also team fight as well, so he can do it all. One of the really cool things or dangerous things about Vlad is that he doesn't really have to do anything in lane apart from farm to get strong. Like, once you hit level 9, you get your max rank in your Q, your transfusion, you're going to be healing a huge amount as well as doing a huge amount of damage, and you really just need to farm and get a few items to become really strong. I don't know if you've ever played against a really good Vlad, but they probably snowball their lead harder than anyone else. They have a crazy amount of damage, and if they get ahead, then they're going to really punish you. They'll keep pushing over and over, and they're really good at diving because they can reset their tower aggro with their W. So that's why I'm putting Vlad on this list. As I said before, top lane kind of struggles to carry solo queue sometimes because they're on this island, but that island is exactly where Vlad wants to be. He wants to farm up until he gets really strong and then come in and kill everyone. So as with the other roles, I have two again. I have Amumu and Volibear. Now Volibear is actually really underrated. He scales really well with his health meta because of the percentage health damage bite that he has on his W. He's a pretty good ganker, he's a pretty good farmer, and he scales into the late game really well. The one I'm actually going to go with though is going to be Amumu, because I think he's just kind of a better version and he's perfect for solo queue. So he has a ton of crowd control with his Q and especially his ultimate, but he also does a lot of damage while still building tanky. Like, his W and his E have really high base values, which means that even if you just build straight tank, you're still going to be doing a huge amount of AoE damage. The other really good thing about him is that he's really good at clearing, he's really good at ganking, and he's really good at team fighting as well, so there's pretty much no point in the game when you're going to be useless. The way I kind of like to think of him as he's kind of just like a harder to play Sejuani, I guess. He has a huge AoE ultimate, he has a lot of innate damage, and he also has a stun on his Q as well. Amumu is definitely underrated. He's pretty much never banned, he's hardly played as well, but he's a really good pick right now, and I actually recommend you do go and try him. So if you move on to the AD carries, this is where it kind of gets weird, okay, because no one really bans AD carries, and Jinx I think is still the best AD carry you can play in solo queue. I'm not actually going to go into Jinx in this video because I did in my last video, in my best solo queue champions video, so if you want to go and check out Jinx, you can click the link on the screen now and it will take you to that part of that video. The AD carry I'm going to go with is someone who is pretty underplayed right now, but is really strong, and that's going to be Sivir. So Sivir has this huge ultimate that can let you run away, it can let you chase, and really choose when you want to fight. She has a lot of damage with her Q, her W, and is something that's underrated is how much AoE damage she does in team fights. Like, if you're using your W and you're hitting it across everyone, you won't actually realise, but you're really hurting everyone, especially if you put your Q over that too. Now, she doesn't have an escape and she is very short range, but she kind of makes up for that with her spell shield, and as soon as you get some lifesteal, you're actually really safe. It's not just in team fights where she does a huge amount of AoE damage that people don't expect. In lane she actually does a lot of damage with her Q as well, especially if you don't hit any minions. I actually think that if you play her right, you can play her as a lane bully. You push your lane in constantly and then poke with your Q once all the minions are dead, and you can actually have a really good lane phase which turns into an even better mid game. Okay, so let's move on to the supports, and again supports are weird because, well, no supports are really banned apart from Annie. Now I said in my last video that supports can carry by playmaking, right? That's what you really want to do, you want to make plays on a support, but the best support really that isn't banned very much or isn't picked very much is Janna. Janna can keep your AD alive no matter how dumb they are, how bad they are, how much they want to run into the enemy team. You've got a really good chance of keeping them alive and making them kill everyone instead. The chances are the biggest weakness of most lower elo AD carries are that they can't position properly and they keep getting caught, and basically as Janna you make up for that weakness, you protect them and you keep them alive. If you want something more aggressive that is underrated, then you can actually go for a Sona. Sona is really strong right now, her Q poke is insane, her ultimate is really big for lane and team fights, and her heal kind of nurses bad ADs through the lane phase because even if they take a bad trade you can just heal it back up. So that covers what I think are the best solo queue champions that aren't really picked that much and aren't really banned that much either. Remember, this list is my opinion and I always want to hear down in the comments what you guys are playing and working for you. So that's all for this video, but I'll catch you next time.